Hey everyone, today I'm going to be unpacking the Rework Gear Toshi 5 litre version 2. This is a bag that probably everyone knows already. They're a great bag, very popular. I decided to pick one up recently when I was going on a trip. I initially planned to go with the 2.5 litre, but instead decided to go with the 5 litre just to give me a bit of extra capacity for carrying different bits and pieces. Overall, the bag really surprised me. I thought it was just a great experience. It was very capable and it had a surprising carry capacity. So let's have a look at the bag. So this is the bag completely full at the moment. So as you can see, it's quite full. It's got a fairly large profile when it's very full, but you'll see why in a few minutes. On the outside, let's start with the strap system. We have a 1.5 inch nylon strap. It's nice and smooth, kind of like seatbelt material. You have the usual easy adjustment buckles. It has a Woojin quick release clip. And then you have the ability to take the strap off and move it around. Now with the strap system in this particular version of the bag, you have strap connection points on the corners, you have strap connection points sort of slightly more in center, and then you can also use the little side straps here for connecting if you wanted to do kind of an offset kind of carry style. So you do have a lot of options with this particular one. Now to point out, if you're looking at the 2.5 litre version, the 2.5 litre version only has the corners options and the side options. It doesn't have the slightly more centered options. It also has a nice little carry handle, very useful. Now, the bag itself is 840D nylon and it has a water repellent coating on it. It uses YKK zippers and it has ripstop interior. So it's a real nice material. It's this, you know, if you've used 840D nylon on any bag before, you know what it feels like. So there's no point in me going into too much detail on that, but it's really nice. On the outside, you have, as I said, little carry straps here. So you can use these for attaching your actual strap or for, you know, carabiners or hanging things off them. So that's a nice little touch. And then also, a thing that I really love about the Toshi, and one of the main reasons I decided to give it a shot for myself, was you have these little hidden carry straps. There's a small magnetically sealed pocket here, which allows you to pop out 2 little external carry straps. They have little Woojin connectors as well for quick release, and they have an adjustment on them. And then these connect to your straps on the bottom of the bag here. Now they're very small, so I don't know what the weight limit is on them, but they could be useful for things like water bottles or, you know, maybe a jacket, something along those lines. Now I will point out, just again, is that the design of these buckles is a split, and you feed one side through the strap on this side, and then you feed it in and to finally seat it in place. I don't know how that will work out with a very heavy water bottle or something like that. I'm not sure, so I don't want to say for sure it'll take heavy items. Just, you know, you might need to trial and error it yourself to see what kind of weight limit it's going to take. But I do love the feature, it's great. And then they tuck away when you're finished with them into this nice little magnetic pocket on the bottom. Very good. Now, on the back we have our usual secret pocket, as I like to call it, just a nice little slim pocket where you can keep various different slim items. In this case, I'm keeping a alpaca admin pouch and a small little, it's a little bottle hanger. Okay, now it's a good capacity, it's quite deep and it can go up a bit further. And in this particular model, you have a AirTag holder inside here. Now it's, you know, that pocket's usually the good pocket for some slim items like your credit cards, cash, you know, wallet, slim wallet or passport, that kind of thing, you know. But it's very useful to have, I like them a lot. On the front then, we have the front sort of dump pocket. Now it is under this little sort of rain flap, which I'm not sure about, to be perfectly honest. It's a little flap here. I do find that sometimes it's a little bit fiddly. I'm not sure the purpose of it, considering like you do have, for example, like your sunglasses pouch strap, or zip should I say, is exposed, and your main compartment zip is exposed, and it does use the same YKK zippers. They have a water repellent coating on them as far as I'm aware, but you know, they're not waterproof, so you wouldn't want to be trusting them for any kind of heavy rain. So not sure what the purpose of that is. It could just be a style feature. But just either way, when you're opening it, you kind of have to get your finger underneath just to otherwise you can kind of catch it on the corner a little bit sometimes. So it's just something to pay attention to. The pocket itself is a good, big, deep pocket. It can carry a lot of items. So for example, I have a pack of tissues, I have a hand cream, I have a hand sanitizer, a little SPF 30, and a lip balm. It also has a key leash. Key leash is removable and you can actually put it into the internal compartment if you want. It's a very deep pocket. I can fit my whole hand down to the bottom of it. There is nothing above the top, it ends at the zip, so just to be aware of that. Now, the only thing I can dislike about this particular pocket is that there's no organizational pockets inside. It's just one large dump pocket. So it's great for throwing things in and out and keeping sort of items in it, but it would be nice to have maybe a couple of stretchy mesh pockets to organize things. But other than that, good little pocket, very useful, very large, good capacity. Then on the top, we have one of my favorite features is the sunglasses pocket. I wasn't sure about this at first, to be honest, but I just use it constantly and I thought it was excellent. I'm a disaster for putting my sunglasses on my cap and forgetting they're there and then bending over and they fall on the ground and smash. So this was just really, really useful as a nice quick place to put your sunglasses when you sat down or when you're doing something. On this one, it's nice and big, so it can actually fit a little bit more in certain situations. So in this case, I have a pair of sunglasses and I have a microfiber cloth. It's quite wide. You could potentially fit other items, although again, I'd advise you to be careful what you put in there. If you're putting your sunglasses in there, make sure you're only putting items in there that aren't going to damage your sunglasses. So, just something to keep in mind. Okay, then we have the main compartment. The main compartment is a double zipper, so you can zip whichever direction you want. You can put your zips wherever you want. Inside the main compartment, you have one very large dump area. You have a divider for keeping a device like iPad mini or e-readers, things like that. And then you have some super stretchy mesh pockets. Okay, first of all, I have iPad mini, very important, in there. There's loads of space for the iPad mini. I'm not quite sure if it takes a larger iPad. I don't believe so. I think it's an iPad mini size device. I think you need the 6 litre for a bigger one, but I'd have to confirm that on the website. I'll put something in the comment section on that. I have a notepad. I have a little pen. And these are very super stretchy pockets. Now, the top edge of the pocket is not massively stretchy. There's a bit of stretch to it, but the actual pocket itself is really, really stretchy. And then you have a smaller front pocket, stretchy pocket here. Now I will say the only problem I have with the main compartment is if you have something bulky in the stretchy pocket and you try to put something into this front stretchy pocket, sometimes it's a little bit awkward and it can kind of pop things out of it. It's not necessarily as secure. If you have something like, for example, I have a power bank, if I put that in there and then put something like AirPods or something in the front pocket, they don't fit very well together in that way. So, your mileage may vary a little bit on those. But I love super stretchy pockets. They're just great for storing various different things. I can also, if I wanted to put something like a small digital camera in there, like a GR4 Ricoh, something like that, which is really nice. And I do love that about stretchy pockets because it lets you keep some of your items very secure. Okay, I also have a small power bank. I have a pair of AirPods. And then I have a larger camera this time than I normally have. I have a Fujifilm X-T50 with a much larger lens, a 16 to 55mm lens. This is just the thing that surprised me about this bag, is how easily it accepted the bigger camera with the bigger lens and still let me carry all of the different items that I wanted to carry with me. So honestly, I was very, very surprised. It comes off as a very compact bag when you initially look at it, but realistically it actually carries quite a lot. It also left me a little bit of space. With all of that, a little bit of extra space here and there for carrying their smaller items, like if I was in the shops and I wanted to buy a protein bar or, you know, bag of sweets or something like that. There was still some space left behind then to carry other items, which is partially why I decided to go for the 5 litre over 2.5 litre. If I went for the 2.5 litre, I would not be able to carry the larger camera, and it would be much tighter with the iPad, which is something I was impressed with. The 2.5 litre, it accepts the iPad, but the iPad mini, should I say, but it certainly takes up a lot of space, and it makes the space more compact within. The other thing to note is the sunglasses pocket lives in the main compartment. So once there is an actual item in there, you know, you need to be a little bit careful if you have your sunglasses in there, that, you know, you're aware of the crush zone for those glasses when you're filling your bag in. So it's just something to keep in mind. And when you're taking things in and out, they can catch on the bottom edge of that pocket. So once you're aware of that, it's fine, because it's a good big wide open. You can really open the pocket out, and you can get quite in there. Another thing about it is that once you have it, if you have a lighter load, you know, a smaller load, it actually slims down fairly slim, and it actually allows you to pack it fairly well into like a suitcase or a case or something like that. So it's a really nice compact bag, but it's very, very, very capable. And just by comparison, I'll show you the 2.5 litre version. There, that's the 2.5 litre version. As you can see, on top of each other, very similar in size. The 5 litre is just a slight size up, but you get a humongous amount more carry capacity. So overall, yeah, I have no problem recommending the bag. Just be aware of the water resistance limitations depending on where you live. I live in an area where I do have to be a bit aware of that, so I tend to have a good mix of bags for water resistance and less water resistance. But overall, fantastic bag, really love it, and it's going to get a lot of use with me. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Catch you in another one.